Greetings to everyone present here. Thank you for coming together today to commemorate a momentous occasion, Hydrogen Day. At last, we have always believed in transformative power of what we call gossip theory. This theory, rooted in the concept of evolution, suggests that ideas, whether they be about families, nations, societies, or any abstract notion, come to life when a group of people collectively believe in them. These concepts initially spread through the word of mouth or gossip. Over the time, they evolve into realities we live by today. Our mission now is to ignite the same process for hydrogen. The more people believe in its potential, the more likely it will become an integral part of our energy landscape. Let's start that conversation today. Let's make hydrogen the next great reality. We have begun our event on an inspiring note by launching the Bharat Chakra, happening Hydrogen Chakra, symbolizing our commitment to a sustainable future. We are honored to have with us two distinguished guests. Mr. Srinivas Chawla, Director of Sustainability at the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, RICH, and Mr. Gopalakrishnan BC, Director of Automotive and EV, Government of Telangana, will lead this launch by sapling plantation. These saplings will stand as a symbol of our joint commitment towards nurturing a greener future.
Thank you. Thank you, esteemed guests, for that wonderful evening. We now invite our honorable guests, Mr. Srinivas Chawla, Mr. Gopalakrishnan BC, Dr. Y. Padmasai and team of the class on the stage for the official inauguration of today's event by lighting the ceremonial lamp.
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां मुदाकरात्तमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतं सकं विनाशलोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते भजैकं नताशुनाशनाशनं नमामि तं विनायकम् जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश रक्ष मां Thank you. To set the tone for the rest of the program, I now invite the members of At Last, Aditya and Nikhil, to give the welcome address and share their insights about At Last, significance of HICA and its mission.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. A very good afternoon one and all. Firstly, happy International Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day. And I would like to thank each and everyone who are here for sustainability and hydrogen. Okay, so did you know that hydrogen power EVs emit nothing but water and can refuel within 2 minutes? Imagine a future where all the automotives in the world are powered by hydrogen. I mean, so great, right? So, our startup at last is here to make this vision a reality. So, we are at last focused on hydrogen fuel cell technology to provide sustainable solutions in energy and automotive sectors. Currently, we are developing hydrogen-powered motorcycles. Right now in the market, you can see that hydrogen developments are primarily focused on heavy vehicles such as buses, trucks, and trains, etc. But we believe that it can be used for light mobility, and it is a way to use for light mobility because, as you can see, the number 49.7% of Indian households own a two-wheeler. That's, in India it's like a huge number. So, the basic economic principle, high volume market is equal to cost reduction. So we truly believe that two-wheelers and light mobility vehicles are the way to go for this hydrogen transition. So currently we are focused on adventure motorcycle, and there's a video that you can see the working of the fuel cell and the working of the motorcycle. Like from the cylinder, the hydrogen goes into the fuel cell, and from the battery and the fuel cell, the electricity goes into the motor, and the bike runs. That's how it works primarily. And basically, we are focused on adventure motorcycle because it's a low-hanging fruit. In EVs, in adventure segment, there are currently no EVs which are catering to that segment. So I believe adventure segment is the way to go for this segment, for the hydrogen mobility. So our product will be having a range of 250 kilometers, and will be having a power of 16 kilowatt of power, and it can be refueled within less than 2 minutes. Next slide. Yeah. We have made a prototype of a hydrogen fuel cell motorcycle that's in our at last disco TF, and our first ride was given by Mr. Srinivas Chella, and he is our esteemed speaker as well. Yeah, and we also met a few distinguished guests such as D. Satish Shetty, etc. And throughout this journey, we have traveled across India, and we have won many competitions and got many accolades. And to build the prototype, we got a pre-seed fund from VNRVJIET of 6.14 lakh rupees, and we also got few funds from IIT Hyderabad and SRIX. Thank you. Next one. Yeah, we are grateful to the VNRVJIET and VNRVJIET for their unwavering support. They have given right now. We are past out and still we are in the college, and still they are supporting us. That's kind of great. So that's what we are so much grateful to them. And right now they have given us a space to work. So we are working from here itself, and we are also part of. We are also incubating of VJHub. That's an incubation center here. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, at last, our step towards sustainability, and basically our innovation is not only focused on technology, but also in creating the awareness for taking a step towards sustainability. That's the reason we are here, HYCA. And now I invite my colleague, Mr. Nikhil, to talk about HYCA. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing your interest in hydrogen. So, we basically believe that intentions are above everything. And then working for about 1.5 to 2 years now, we have learned that working towards the intentions is equally important. And so we have been celebrating hydrogen since the day we have started working. Last year on this day, it was just a WhatsApp chat in our group saying Happy International Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day, and that's all. So then we have decided that this year it will not be the same. It will be a step forward towards celebrating hydrogen as a tradition. And we felt that International Hydrogen Day and Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day is the best occasion to start with. So we wanted to do a carnival to celebrate hydrogen. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HICA, Hydrogen Carnival, an Atlas initiative. Yeah, I believe that people will start understanding hydrogen, people will start working with hydrogen like we did, and we all together will combat climate change. And it will be great to launch a carnival like this. Thank you for being here. And again, welcome to HICA.
Thank you for beginning the session with such great insights. By outlining the organization's goals and the vital impact hydrogen can have on our future, you have reinforced the importance of our collective efforts to support this mission.
Now it is my honor to invite Dr. Y. Padmasani, student population at VNRVJIET, to the stage to share her thoughts and vision for the groundbreaking unit.
Good afternoon to one and all, respected dignitaries, Gopal Krishnan Garu, Srinivas Garu, my dear colleagues and dear student friends. So very happy to see this. Actually, Gopi Chand always used to work from his student life. We at VNR not only encourage academics, we also encourage students to participate in various activities based on their interest. We are having professional chapter activities, club activities, entrepreneurship activities in the campus. And we are having Section 8 company, and we call that as VNRVJIET. Under that, we are having nearly 30 incubators. Some are from our own alumni, some are from outside also, we are providing space. So that is the opportunity for all our students working under professionals. It is good learning from them when they are in the student life. And not only that one, VNR is always supporting entrepreneurs. Most of our members are entrepreneurs. So they won't take, this is not for profit organization. Whatever revenue it is generating, it is used for the development of this institute only. And we provide seed money, already they mentioned around 6.5 lakhs they supported for this project. Not only this project, if all 8,000 students are in the campus, if they come forward, if they have any idea, on behalf of management, on behalf of principal sir, I can proudly say that we support for each and every idea 5 lakhs rupees, sir. That is announced by our partner president, Dr. D.N. sir. And now we are supporting all the students who are coming forward, not only for students, for faculty also we are providing minimum 2 lakhs seed fund if they have any idea to work on that. So that is brief about VNR. So we believe on values. We teach the same thing for our students. That is actually we have to follow when we are developing any products, ethical, and now we are seeing many problems. So we teach mainly all those things. They will learn all those things thoroughly in academics. We will support, and if you are not expert in that area, we will invite eminent speakers like you, so that all students learn from you, sir. So I don't want to take much time. Thank you for coming all the way to address our students as well as faculty members. Thank you once again. Thank you, Gopichan. All the best. Gopichan and team. Thank you, ma'am. Our next speaker is a trailblazer in energy sector. He brings a wealth of experience to the table, having dedicated his career to the intersection of technology and energy. His hands-on expertise in developing and implementing innovative solutions has positioned him as a leading authority in the field. He has also played a pivotal role in driving the adoption of sustainable transportation solutions. His involvement with e-mobility players has been instrumental in developing go-to-market strategies that accelerate the transition to electric vehicles. Mr. Srinivas Cherla is the Director of Sustainability at the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, which, an initiative by the Government of Telangana and the PSA Government of India. Mr. Cherla will now share rich initiatives in skilling youth and exploring collaborations in hydrogen policy. I invite Mr. Cherla onto the stage.
So, a very warm welcome to all the participants over here. Before I go into Rich and everything else, I see a lot of AI and all the trailblazer and all the flashy words, huh? Right? So if we leave that aside, I think all I can say is yes, my association with sustainability and energy has been recent, right? And basically, what I can comment upon is my association earlier in 2022 when he was still a student, Gopi. I forget the name of the entire team, but then I see a few familiar faces over here. We met first in T-Hub at Triple campus, so they're a very curious group of students who came around looking for, okay, how can we make a hydrogen-fueled two-wheeler, right? And they showed me some models, some simulations, all pieces of paper, and we had a good hour-long discussion or so. And at that moment itself, I definitely saw what we call a spark and certain enthusiasm in the team, right? And that's what took team at last from, say, conceptualizing something on a piece of paper to making a bike which I had ridden in later 2022, 23, early 23, somewhere around that time, I think, right? Okay, so we had a lot of conversations around the design. We had conversations around vendors, right, and where to procure the fuel cells from, how to do the control aspects and everything else. So all I'm trying to say is, what is an entrepreneur, right? Since some of you here maybe are aspiring entrepreneurs, it's someone who just thinks about how to get it done, right? Okay, and figures out ways to get it done. There are 10 different ways or 20 different ways to get something done. The entrepreneur figures out the most efficient way to get something done. So that's number one. For being an entrepreneur, you need to be able to find and figure out solutions. You need to be constantly applying your mind on providing a solution. Okay. Second thing is perseverance. When you go from a design to execution, there will be 100 things that will break down. It's not as I say, right? Between what you say and execution, there will be many hurdles. There could be technical hurdles, there could be financial hurdles, there could be team issues and other things, team working, which may, right, and other relationship management aspects. So there are several things that an entrepreneur has to go through. He has to ensure that the team stays together. When I say he, it's gender neutral, he or she. The entrepreneur has to make sure that the team stays together, sticks together, has a focus on delivering the solution. So that's the primary role, apart from figuring out a way, the most efficient path, managing the entire team as well. And in doing all of this, there are two aspects. One is focus on the team, the second is focus on what the market requires. As an entrepreneur, while you're focusing on how to execute the project and deliver a solution, you should never lose sight on what the market needs as well. And that's probably the most critical part where most of the entrepreneurs lose it. And I'm a failed entrepreneur myself, okay? So I've learned this the hard way as to exactly what is the market need versus what you are developing or what you think is the best thing, best technology solution, not always needed in the market. You may have a solution, you may have the best solution out there, but the market doesn't need that solution, or they may be looking for something which is cheaper in cost, does the job half as well, but still can get it, serve most of the market requirements, right? So have focus and clarity on exactly what is needed for the market and only develop so much. Do not go overboard, do not go too much into the technical aspects, do not go too far ahead in your, we say, technical la-la land or dreamland. Okay, so these are a few bits of advice. As an entrepreneur myself, we developed something. So earlier, before I was in the energy sector, I was primarily in the manufacturing sector, working on product design, simulations. So my domain was completely different. But then I turned an entrepreneur. I had a lot of interest in energy sustainability, and we started developing a product in an area that I had very little knowledge about, right? Renewables, energy management, IoT devices, IT technology. I'm myself a mechanical engineer. And when I started working on all these different things, which I had very poor foundation on, let me put it that way, right? But overcoming the technical hurdles was one thing. We had a product which was technically best in class and was also attested by the industry. But unfortunately, the regulations in the market, that is, the power sector regulations and government regulations, they did not allow such interventions, such control of devices or anything at a household level or at an industry level. And therefore, whatever product I had, though it was technically capable of addressing a lot of issues, the regulatory hurdles were there, and therefore we didn't move forward. Right? Now, I'm pretty sure the team at last is seeing a lot of these themselves when they're going to the market, the regulatory hurdles that they have to get across. Just now, Gopi was mentioning about PESO approvals for the hydrogen cylinder and tank that he was using. You have to get some PESO tests done, or even though they are not mandated, for safety purposes, you have to get some tests done. So these are all regulatory issues, safety issues, compliance issues that as a startup, we may not have anticipated them, but we would have to face them when you have to take it to the market. So all in all, I just wanted to maybe relate to what team at Atlast is doing, right? And how many hurdles you guys are facing and still staying on top of it. Gen 1 is over, now you are bringing towards Gen 2. And at the same time, I just want to caution, make sure whatever you are developing or whatever you are trying to conceptualize, there is a need for it in the market. Whether it is here, whether it is in Leh Ladakh, Manali, as we were discussing, right, or somewhere else. Okay, right. So with that in the background, now we can go to the more regular stuff about what RICH is, what we do, and possibly where we can support some of the budding entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. Okay. Where's the clicker? Okay, thank you. So when I say this, you move next. Yeah, so RICH is an acronym for Research and Innovation Circle Hyderabad. We are a Telangana state enabler, and we work with various enabling institutions, like whether it is academic and research institutions, industries, or startups. So all the key stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem. Right? We were set up as a not-for-profit entity by the Telangana state, but then at some point we were also adopted by the Government of India, Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, because we were doing exactly what they aspire to do, that is connect the industry academia closer together and make sure that the industry problem statements are being addressed by the skills and knowledge pool available in the academic and research circles. So that's one of our primary mandate. Apart from that, we also do a few other things. I'll get into that. But we have a sector focus. We don't go all about the place. We are focused on life sciences, food and agriculture, and sustainability. So these are our three core verticals. And the choice of verticals is very simple, just because these are the three focus areas for Telangana as a whole. Telangana has about 40 to 50% of seed production in India. Right? We are a life sciences or pharma hub, and we do have a lot of focus on sustainability as a state, right? And therefore, it was very easy for us to pick region-specific focus areas: life sciences or healthcare, and food and agriculture and sustainability. Right? In here, what RICH does is we kind of work in close coordination with multiple stakeholders, startups, researchers, academic institutions, corporates, and government bodies. So the first three are probably where technology is being sourced from, new ideas are coming in. So where the innovation happens is in the first three: startups, academic, and research networks. And then where the need is felt is either in the government or corporations. Right? So there's a need felt for newer innovation, newer technologies, and therefore we are bridging the gap between these two. Okay? And we do this next level. And we do this with in three different ways. One is research projects. Two is field demonstration and pilot demonstration projects. And third is working closely with startups. Right? And over the years, we have a vast list of stakeholders that we are working with in each of these areas. Down below in the sustainability, you can see a lot of marquee names in the energy sector, whether it is NTPC, Singareni, or Noida Power, BSES, right? Technical Energies, and several other players who we have been working with on various aspects of the energy sector. Next. A few impact numbers, I won't go into them, but essentially you can see that we have been working a lot with entrepreneurs and trying to support innovation activities across the spectrum. Since the topic that was given to me was about how we are supporting students, entrepreneurs, and right, trying to create the skill network, this is one of the activities that RICH is proudly hosting, which is scholarships and mentorships for women in the STEM area. This we kind of kicked off with funding support from Syngene and Biocon Foundation. And the intent here is to identify women in the STEM area coming in from marginalized and rural areas. They do have good education. Most of them are graduates, but they don't find the necessary opportunities, either because they don't have the proper communication skills, or because their parents and community comes from a slightly traditional background. And so what we said is that, okay, we'll reach out to these segments of women and offer them internships in very reputed institutions like Reddy Labs or Syngene or Biocon Foundation or CCMB, CDFT and various other institutions. So there are a list of many institutions, mainly they come from the healthcare background because the CSR funding came from the healthcare sector itself, right? So we pick women from all over India, from marginalized sectors, and we offer them internship, one-on-one mentorship, and skill development in several areas, whether it is soft skills or technical skills. Go on. Yeah, so there is a specific, first it is interviews, right, and then they are further evaluated by the technical committee coming in from the industry, right? And then they are onboarded. Well, the overview of all the support which is provided, one certainly is scholarship for these women students. They're given internships as well, 3 to 6 month internships. And one-on-one mentorships with mentors coming in from the industry themselves. So senior scientists, researchers from Reddy's Labs or Syngene Foundation or Biocon Foundation, so or any other institution, CCMB, they do provide one-on-one mentorship, and it's right. And therefore, it gives a lot of confidence in these women to open up and really learn new skills and face the market. Next slide. Yeah, so this is something that we have done 2 cohorts, and we are getting into a 3rd cohort now. But it has been widely appreciated by the industry as something that really is giving a better chance to this marginalized sector women. Okay. Definitely, madam. Yeah, as I said, the focus currently is on identifying marginalized students from marginalized backgrounds, right? And therefore we would be evaluating the students based on that. So just to give you an example, most of the cohort is not based out of Hyderabad. They come from Adilabad or Mahbubnagar or Medak. And so we reached out to the tribal welfare department, we reached out to the specific district collectors and asked them to nominate some institutions from where we could pick up the students. So it's absolutely, so exactly. So you can get in touch and I can introduce you to Aboli, who handles the Women in STEM program. So that's to address a particular area, but certainly beyond this, okay, we're also working on several other initiatives in the sustainability area, which is what I heard. Okay. So I can speak with a lot more conviction, confidence in the coming slides. So we focus on 3 things. One is startups, ecosystem building and projects. The startups, we are working on a program called Energy Leap, which is specifically focusing on green hydrogen technology acceleration. And this we're doing with support from industries like Technip Energies, our ZTO, right, and funding support from SED Fund, Catapult Foundation, and various other entities. We are also working on administering Startup India Seed Fund, wherein we do support young startups which are less than 2 years old with grants and CCD funding. Okay. Even there we have taken a few, we are onboarding a few startups in green hydrogen space, in the biohydrogen space, energy storage, and various other streams. So we do administer startup in the seed fund for eligible startups. In the ecosystem building, we are working with various stakeholders, including the automotive department, on trying to set up a EV skill development center. And we have recently signed an MOU with Tata Institute of Fundamental Research on setting up a GEMS cluster, which is a Global Energy Materials and Sustainability Cluster, in which we will be onboarding startups, we will be onboarding researchers who are working in the energy materials and sustainability area. So far, we have received a very good interest from even international clusters like Oxford University, Rice University, University of Manchester, and various other Israel Tel Aviv University to be part of this GEMS cluster. Right? Over here, it will definitely focus on high-end research when it is coming from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. They're mainly looking at fundamental research, but they're also looking at doing a lot of innovation, translation research activities with startups. And then we're working further on several projects in the energy sector, mainly on energy transition, green hydrogen, energy management, and energy intensity reduction for MSMEs. Now, the question would be, okay, where can entrepreneurs and students come in? There will certainly be opportunities in the last one, wherein we're doing projects with MSMEs, we're doing activities in terms of green hydrogen and other things. There will be a lot of scope for startups and MSMEs to work along on projects, demonstration projects, and interventions that can support the industry. Right? So there are many startups which are working on developing dashboards for energy management. Some startups which are working on things like carbon, carbon monitoring and carbon footprint assessments. Right? So there are many startups which are working in those areas, and we will work closely and engage with those startups to do such assessments for the industry. Because these are upcoming areas. Carbon footprint assessments are more recent, and it is those specific startups which have awareness and knowledge in those areas that we can work with. Go to next. So this is again the same slide in a different format, so I can easily skip over it. But as you can see, we are mainly focusing a lot on energy sector, which is all the green blocks, and then we do have some focus on circularity, wherein we're looking at water and waste management, which is a JICA funded project, and also setting up a center of excellence on e-waste management, which has already kick-started at CMET in Cherlapalli area. And beyond that, with the startup and entrepreneurship, innovation engagement, there are a few other activities. Yeah. With this, I think the further slides just detail what I have spoken already in terms of what are all the activities, right? And again, in the domain-wise, we're working on a project, funded project from Central Power Research Institute or Ministry of Power on developing indigenous technologies for alternate chemistry battery energy storage. So in this, we're focusing on sodium-ion battery and zinc-air flow batteries. Okay. Again, this project will be taken up by TIFR, IIT Hyderabad, and in collaboration with Amar Raja, HBL Power Systems, and various other industry partners. Yeah. Again, over there, we intend to work with startups. There are a few startups which are working on anode materials, cathode materials for sodium-ion batteries and other things, and we'll be working along with these startups. Right? Second, we are working on a funded project from which is part of the Indo-Norwegian Task Force on Energy. This is a project where we are working on demand-side energy management called automated demand response. Again, there we have engaged a startup called Sustain Impact, and we are working on demonstrating how the utility company can manage the demand-supply gap of their electricity by not just ramping up the production of energy, say from NTPC or from the solar plants or other things, but also at the same time managing the demand side. That is, when you and consumers, like when we start consuming energy and we are not mindful of our energy consumption, we have switched on the lights, and while then there's literally no one in the back, we have lights turned on, right? But how do we be more mindful of our energy? And if there is a stress on the grid in terms of lack of availability of power, then the utility company can straight away trigger some actions, pre-agreed and predefined actions at the consumer side, like switching off the AC for the next 15 minutes, or maybe switching off some pumps or motors somewhere, right? Where we agree as an institution, so VNR says, okay, it's okay for us to switch off the ACs for 15 minutes, it's not going to kill anyone, and we can reduce our energy consumption depending on the demand supply. So there's technology solutions which have been developed, and as soon as the utility sends a signal, immediately these actions are implemented, okay, across multiple consumers. So this is something that we are demonstrating in Delhi, a region with 3 utility companies. Again, there are startups engaged. All I'm trying to say is that for startups, you need to identify and know exactly what is needed in the market, right? And if you have a solution, that you should be very close to the market, and if you have a solution, or you're willing to work on a solution and demonstrate a minimum viable product, there will be opportunities where you can be engaged. Gone are the days when someone would just give you the fund for an idea. Let's not wait at that. Certainly your college is gracious enough to give you 5 lakhs funding to support some ideas and other things. So utilize those funds and come up with an MVP, minimum viable product, for which there is an identified market need. And then there will be many opportunities for you to engage and work upon. So circularity, again, I was talking about the Center of Excellence on e-waste. There, one of the startups has developed a technology for recycling of the LCD panels and LED panels, right? I did not know till then that the liquid crystals in each of these screens can be recycled, okay? I was just thinking the screen itself can be recycled, but what they said, even if it is broken, we can remove the liquid crystals out of it and recycle and use it in another LCD display manufacturing. So now that was a need that the startup identified. They worked with CMET to develop the technology, and now any broken screen which doesn't have any market value, they're trying to recycle that and take that value out of it. That is, the liquid crystal is where the value is. We're trying to take it out, and rest is all glass, and Gorilla Glass or whatever glass that can be just scrapped. So yeah, fine. And the third activity, raising and accelerating MSME productivity, this is something that we are just going to get started. October 1st is when it was kick-started, and we already had a meeting with several industry associations to identify what kind of energy intensity measures are they following, right? How are they managing their energy requirements? Are they mindful of their energy consumption? Are they monitoring which appliances are consuming more energy than what they're supposed to? Say, for instance, this is supposed to be a 30-watt device. Is it actually drawing 30 watts or is it drawing 40 watts? Right? Are the industries actually looking at the nameplate energy consumptions and monitoring it on a regular basis, seeing if their devices are losing their energy efficiency and other things? So that's a project where we'll be engaging a lot with industry. We'll be hiring probably many interns to go visit the field, understand, assess many, do energy audits for MSME industries, and then come back and decide on what kind of interventions will help industries. And there will be certainly many ideas which startups can pick up and develop solutions, right? Because there will be many unmet needs of the industry that will come out, and certainly there will be scope for startups. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. And green hydrogen is something that we have been very actively working on. We're working on the policy. We're working on putting together all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, right? Because we need to create an ecosystem. Green hydrogen is something where an ecosystem doesn't exist today. Neither technology, nor the market, nor the policy, nor the production, transport, dispensing, none of these exist today. If they do, they exist only at an industrial level and not at a smaller level, right? So it needs an overall look at the entire ecosystem. Just like if you were to relate electric vehicles, earlier when the electric vehicles were rolled out, what they said is, okay, where can we charge the vehicles? What happens when the batteries discharge or when they reach end of life? How do I recycle these batteries? Where can I even purchase or retrofit a vehicle? So all these questions were there, but now it's mainstreamed. That is, everyone accepts electric vehicles as mainstream, and they're purchasing and using it because the ecosystem challenges around how to charge a vehicle, how to recycle the vehicle, where to service the vehicle, all of these have been more or less addressed. Same thing, hydrogen will take the next 5 years to 10 years to set up the ecosystem, and I can say that Rich has been there since the beginning and trying to set up this ecosystem in the state of Telangana, and hopefully in the next few months there will be big announcements coming out in this area. Next slide. I think that's pretty much it. There are several other activities which I want to touch upon. Only thing I would say is certainly for someone to be an entrepreneur, once again, identify that market need and then work very dedicatedly towards a solution. If a solution is not meeting the market needs, you don't have to sweat upon it, just pivot, right? You focus on developing something for 6 months, a year. If it is not working, there's no point being a maniac about it. It's okay to say, I misjudged the market, move on to something which is more related. There will be a lot of learning in the way, so that's what we call pivoting. And it's a very general term in the startup world, right? With that, I'll close my monologue and open for any questions, any thoughts from the other participants. Thank you.
We kindly request you to take a seat on the stage. I also invite Dr. Y. Padmasai ma'am to take a seat on the stage. Thank you, sir. Your expertise has truly pointed out the critical role that both skill development for our youth and strategic hydrogen policies play in shaping a sustainable future.
Next we have with us Mr. Gopalakrishnan VC, a dynamic leader recognized among India's 40 under 40 for his contributions to the electric mobility industry. As a director of automotive and EV for the government of Telangana, Mr. Gopalakrishnan manages everything, right from investor relations to policy development, driving initiatives that accelerate the shifts towards a cleaner and greener future. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Gopalakrishnan VC share his insights on government initiatives for startups in the automotive and EV industry. Thank you so much. Firstly, I'd like to thank Team At Last for inviting me to this Hydrogen Carnival, and also VNRVJIET for facilitating this event. I can see a lot of faculty here and a lot of students. I'm sure students here are missing out on something which is very entertaining happening outside. You chose to be here in this particular event, so I should specifically thank you. I don't know how faculties kept you here, or Team Atlas Gopichand has restricted your movement. I don't know, but I can see some of you here, and that shows your eagerness and interest to learn more about what's happening and what role government is trying to play in this, etc. So just to introduce myself, my name is Gopalakrishnan. I work with the Industries Department. I lead the automotive and electric vehicle sector. So I have been in this assignment for 4 years now. Prior to this, I've worked in a couple of companies. One is a Japanese company in the automotive sector, where we did both automotive motor manufacturing and also ceiling fan and few other BLDC motors. And prior to that, I was with NTPC. I was there for 6 years in Ramagundam. In between, I did my MBA from ISB. So in this particular role, I mean, I was actually one of the lucky ones, because when I got into this role, the EV policy back then into 2020 was already ready. So my predecessor who was working in this role, he had already kind of done all of the hard work of connecting with the stakeholders and having a lot of meetings and a lot of corrections in the policy, fine-tuning it, understanding more from think tanks like Niti Aayog and the others, looking more at what the Western world is doing and bringing their good practices here. So he basically had framed the policy. It was a 105-page document, I still remember. So the only thing I had to do was cut it short to the extent that government was willing to have some kind of a budget for it, etc. So finally in 2020 September, that is exactly 4 years before when I joined, that was the first thing we did. And the policy got released. The main, I'll take you through some policy aspects, and probably I know the participants here are more of hydrogen, aficionados. I'll be careful about what I'm talking about. It will be all electric vehicle, electric mobility, very less of hydrogen. But still, spare me for it. So on the EV policy front, a couple of very high level things that we decided at that day, that is 4 years back, was that this policy would be for 10 years. It should have 3 sections to it. One is on the investments that we try to get from companies, both domestic and coming from abroad, global companies. So what the size of the investment should be, how much employment we should generate, and what other parallel activities should be there so that the ecosystem is ready for electric vehicles, like how many charging stations should be there, where all they should be placed, what is the strategy for the state, etc. Of course, the first level of understanding was that cities would adopt to these new technologies, and then slowly rural areas would adopt. Both rural means there would be a lot of, the industry itself is different, it's agriculture. So there will be a lot of willingness to take up electric tractors and some movement of larger vehicles for goods, etc. So it could be trucks that could electrify, etc., etc. And there could be electric buses flying between the cities or intercities, or it could be outside Telangana itself coming to Telangana. So the highways have to be electrified. So all of this broad sense that we had at that time, we thought it would all happen in 10 years. And that is how the policy is actually completely drafted also. But to our surprise, companies such as At Last, they are faster than the curve, they are faster than what government think, and corporates, a lot of good interest from corporates, etc. In the first 2 years itself, our aim of achieving about 30,000 crores of investment, at least half of it was already done. So this is on the manufacturing side. Now you could ask me, where is this happening? Have they been grounded, or is it just that we are having MOUs and nothing is happening on the ground? So today, as we speak, there are 5 or 6 prominent clusters around Hyderabad. I don't know how many of you are from Hyderabad. I understand many of you are from the other districts, possibly from the other states also. But we have one very big cluster in Zahirabad. It is about 11,000 acres of land. So there, the zone 1 or the phase 1 of that particular cluster, it's 3,500 acres. That's already almost sold out, and that is where all of the prominent industrial activity is going to be. So just a couple of weeks ago, central government also decided that that is a part of a very big industrial corridor, and they are also willing to give some 100 or 200 crores of rupee for developing that infrastructure there, etc. The next manufacturing bit or the cluster that we have is in Divitipalli, where all of you would have heard about this battery company called Amar Raja. So they are setting up 16 gigawatt hours of production capacity, that is about 9,500 crores of rupee, employing some number, etc. It's a very big number. So the broad aim of that area would be not just for this battery assembly, but from the cell manufacturing, that is anode, cathode, electrolyte separators, even the circularity. We are looking at 3 companies to set up their base very close to this Divitipalli area. So that is going to happen in 250 acres of land, but Divitipalli is over, the sales is done. We only have a small area and that is all done. That is what we call as energy park. So some of you who are still interested in electric, if you are interested in the battery segment, that is, then you could think of cells coming from Divitipalli and then look at modularizing it or packaging it for a 2-wheeler or a 3-wheeler, etc. Or even for a higher form factor. Why I mentioned 2 and 3-wheeler is because we have a lot of companies in Hyderabad, around Hyderabad, in this particular segment. If you go for a 4-wheeler, we still don't have any. We are trying for some brands to come and set up their shop. Unfortunately, we are a landlocked state, so that leaves us with little to negotiate. But with whatever there is, we are bringing some bus manufacturers, truck manufacturers in the electric segment. So you still can look at larger form factor, but it would be good for you, like Mr. Srinivas mentioned, where there is a requirement, where there is a demand, you should have a product. So this 2 and 3-wheeler is the area where you can look at everything, even IoT based sensor technology or whatever that is that you all would know of and want to work on. Those are the areas that you can look at. Apart from Divitipalli and Zahirabad, we have a third cluster. It is called Sitarampur. So in Sitarampur, I mean, many of you would know of Electra, that is a MEIL company. Electra buses are being manufactured in 120 acres of land in Sitarampur. And they have also taken adjacent about 100 plus acres for their electric truck manufacturing. So if some of you are interested or keen, if VNRVJIET want to send some students to understand how the bus is being manufactured, because that's a very large premises, we can even support groups of 30 or 40 to have some kind of an industrial visit, etc. All of that is possible. So I'm sure that VJ Hub of VNRVJIET would take this up, and we are always available for this kind of partnership where we take some students and they also get hands-on experience and understanding of what's happening, etc. Similarly, I mean, that is very far away, Sitarampur, but if you want some smaller places, there is this company called Race Energy, which is right in Madhapur, or they do battery, retrofitment of 3-wheelers. They were the very first company in India to start off this retrofitment. Similarly, there are many more such companies in 3-wheeler and 2-wheeler segment that are close by. Again, there also it is possible, but those are all smaller areas. So the square feet area is very small, that we might have to accommodate multiple batches, not as a single large batch. The fourth area that I want to talk about, of course, Sitarampur, I only gave you the example of Electra. There is a very large 2-wheeler company that also wants to set up their base. About 100 acres they are looking for, but it is still in discussion, so I'm not going into the name of it, etc. But once that comes, they would bring their supply chain, etc. into Sitarampur itself. The fourth cluster that I would like to talk to you about is a place called Yankatala. So if you know Kandi, where IIT Hyderabad is, there is a offshoot from there towards Bangalore highway. So it is somewhere like 20 or 15 kilometers from that point, in between the Zahirabad highway and the Bangalore highway. So there we have about 550 acres of land, and this will be very interesting to even the hydrogen folks, because we have tied up with TUV Rainland and a company called Automotive Test Systems in India, ATS and TUV Rainland, and they are setting up the first test tracks in this region. So there is some test tracks in Chennai, there is some in Indore, etc. NATRACs and all are there. There is some in Manesar. ICAT has some test tracks. Similarly, in Pune, there is some test tracks that ARAI holds. But in this region, prominently for the startups here, whenever you talk about a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler manufacturer, whenever you have to do some testing validation of your assemblies or your final vehicle, you have to wait for 4 to 6 months so that you get slot from an ARAI or an ICAT, etc. But now, once this facility, that is about 7 proving grounds will be there, the high-speed test track, the gradient track, the noise and vibration related some track. So there is 6 or 7 tracks and also about 16 labs that will be set up. The labs are the usual ones, mostly focusing on sustainability. So we could also think of having something on hydrogen there, which we have not discussed yet, but since I see that there is a lot of traction now, surely we will need some test labs for hydrogen also. So on the electric bit, we have motor testing, we have battery testing, and we have some assembly related testing, sensor technology testing. So there is going to be this city circuit modeling. It's not a simulation, but a real city circuit testing also over there, where you can test your ADAS and other things. So all of this is going to pull in more investments. So this is in just 125 acres of land. It is not a very global scale thing that I'm talking of, because there are in 600 acres around the world a lot larger such test tracks, etc. But we are only focusing on a small one because we want the demand also to be there. We want players also to come and position around these test tracks for manufacturing, etc. So this is in Yankapella, where additional 300 to 350 acres of land is still available, and we are looking at some global companies to come and set up manufacturing. So that forms the first pillar which I wanted to talk to you about, which is manufacturing. The second pillar is skilling, which will be very interesting to all of you as well. So there is a lot of academia, industry collaboration that we do, a lot of partnership that we do. So one such thing that we do is we have some prominent software companies in the automotive segment. So for example, ZF, they work on vehicle dynamics. Mobis works on ADAS and new mobility technology. Micron works on AI, and someone works on IoT. I think Stellantis works on IoT, etc. Bosch works on automotive cybersecurity. So for all of these focused segments that they work on topics that they work on, we have a direct partnership with one or the other academia. So this is also something that VNRVJIET could think about, where we have a focused partnership with one of these industry players and have a center of excellence here. It could be within the VJ hub or within the VNR group college itself. So we are doing this as a practice with BITS Hyderabad, where we have connected them, and a course is already on. So this is not just for the work integrated learning, but also for third year, final year students. And also for a couple more years, we give them an opportunity to come back and learn, but not beyond 2 years work experience. So within that limit of third year, final year, and the next 2 years category. So this Bosch Automotive Cybersecurity Center of Excellence with BITS Hyderabad. Similarly, New Mobility Center of Excellence between Mobis and BITS Hyderabad. That's already started. There is some discussion between NIT Warangal and ZF on vehicle dynamics, which is still not live, but that discussion is going on. Similarly, between Stellantis and IIIT. But we could also think of VNRVJIET to have a Center of Excellence with one industry, which would be very good for your students to attend. And then, it's not that the company takes anyone, certainly, but then it would be interesting for them to look at someone who already have gone through that focused that particular whatever has been together with the college and the company, whatever course structure has been together framed. It would be interesting for them to pick candidates from that. So that way it would be good. So these centers of excellences are live. Similarly, there are about 200 plus ITIs, industrial training institutes in the state. So in different trades like mechatronics and even the mechanical trade, electrical trade, etc., we are finding dearth of talent. So this we started about 3 years or 4 years back, where we connect companies like Mahindra and companies like Rane who have their manufacturing presence in Hyderabad or around Hyderabad in a very big way. And so, for example, Mahindra, they are in Zahirabad. So there are three, what is that? ITIs around them. So Sangareddy, Sadashivpet, and Vikarabad, I think. So these three ITIs, they have connected with Mahindra, and they have structured a very good structuring of training that they can give to these folks, and about 6 or 7 months of training, and they get pulled into the manufacturing line. So that is happening for Rani as well. In Tupran region, we have some three-wheeler manufacturing. So there also we have, Greaves have their facility in Tupran. So there also we have such things. So about 10 to 15 ITIs we have covered till now. But again, ITIs have to, the principals of ITIs should have the interest also to do it. So that is where it is. But prominently wherever we require talent, exactly at that base we have that kind of arrangements already. Now, one more skilling initiative which will be an eye-opening for the whole state, or which will bring in a lot of accolades later on. The other states will also mimic or emulate it, as something Honorable CM is driving himself. So this is called Young India Skills University. So this discussions itself just started 5 months ago, but you will be amazed to see the pace with which it is moving, because it is directly under his purview. So just 4 days back, we had the first virtual board meeting of YISU, that is Young India Skills University. The chairman is Anand Mahindra himself, and the board members are all well heard of. So this Bharat Biotech founder is a board member. Similarly, there are 2-3 pharma companies in Hyderabad. For example, Dr. Reddy's the main person, Mr. Satish, I think Satish Reddy, he is a board member. Similarly, there are in automotive also, there is, of course, Anand Mahindra himself is the chairman, but the co-chair is Srini Raju, who has been working prominently in operations, etc., manufacturing. Similarly, a lot of such eminent folks are there on the advisory board. So this particular university is going to have 19 different sectors, and one such sector is automotive. And the first 3 courses that have started or are going to be launched on October 15th, I think, if I'm not wrong, is one on cold chain for logistics, one is going to be on pharma, and one more, I'm forgetting the sector. But these 3 are the first ones that are getting launched. But on the automotive side, again, I'm talking only automotive because I lead that particular thing. On automotive, the phase 2 launch is going to be on automotive. This could be anywhere between April or May next year, we would launch something. So all of this is happening currently at ESCI, Engineering Staff College of India, but there is going to be a very large university in 100 acres that is going to come in Mucherla, this is beyond Shamshabad, and everything would be shifted to that place later on. So the second pillar is skilling. I'm eating a lot of time, I know. I'll take about another 5 minutes and then stop it there. The third pillar that we have been concentrating on is innovation. So as Mr. Srinivas was mentioning, we have RICH as an enabler, we have T-Hub, we have T-Works for prototyping, etc., etc. So all of this, but specific to automotive, we are thinking of having it in this location called Yankatala. So in that facility that we are going to create, we are going to have this focused design iterations or prototyping or whatever tech-related R&D that is required under the innovation pillar. We are going to have it in Yankatala. Finally, the fourth pillar that we usually talk of. The fourth pillar was, of course, the partnership with the academia itself. So what all of this is leading to is a topic called Telangana Mobility Valley. I don't know if you have heard about it. So we launched it last year in the month of February when we had this Formula E race in Hyderabad. So under Telangana Mobility Valley, which is going to come up in Yankatala, we are focusing on all of these 4 pillars. And I would be glad to answer any additional queries or questions that you might have, and also would be very looking forward to more interaction on the 2 focus topics that I mentioned, which is one is the industry visits if required, or creating a COE in a vertical of your interest. It could be hydrogen, it could be electric mobility, or it could be with one of the industry that we have. Any prominent industrial presence that we have, we could attach and do that. But thank you. Yeah.
Trying to find So good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Ansari, Head Industrial Institute Relations. We are trying to train all the mechanical engineers of TSRTC on electrical vehicles. What happened is hardly 5 or 6 depots they are running with electric vehicles. Other depots they are yet to induct. Today morning, for the last 2 days, we are going to Myanmar 2 depots. So today morning also, I along with my team, I was there studying electric. They are running 56 electric buses. From Myanmar to depot, and some other because they are running from HCO depot, cantonment depot, different depots. So that is one aspect. One activity is some of the mechanical engineers, though they are working in TSRTC, but they do not know much about electrical vehicles. So we are taking a sort of consultancy to train all the mechanical engineers across the state, starting from Adilabad. That's one activity where we had interaction with engineers of Electra today morning. And we're also planning to go to Electra Sitarampur, as you said, next week. Yeah. My request is I want your help also in organizing that program, your coordination also. That's one activity, sir. As you rightly said, we're also planning to take some of the students of college to the visit of Electra industry. That's one activity. Second is Center of Excellence, as you rightly said. Center of Excellence because the day is for electrical vehicles. So we can plan and we can have one Center of Excellence at our institute, maybe with reference to Mahindra and Mahindra or Electra or any other EV vehicle manufacturer. And because this is only the college which is offering automobile engineering across Telangana state. So that is one big advantage.
No, that's very nice to hear. So I've heard that ZF works very closely with VNRVJIET. Probably we could attach ZF courses, that might be easier, and create a center of excellence for whatever ZF is concentrating on in the Hyderabad center. We can do that. And on the other topic, certainly, I mean, whatever that you would require, if it is a meeting opportunity with the heads of TSRTC or with the Electra, we can do that. We can.
TSRTC is not because I was with TSRTC. Oh. I was with TSRTC. So that's next week the team is going.
Sure.
My request is visits for the students. That's one. And I want your appointment next week, some maybe Monday, Tuesday. I'll come and discuss in detail with different activities are there on electrical vehicles where the institute can coordinate anytime next week.
Very happy to discuss in detail.
Yes.
We can meet next week.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So on that topic, I think there is a timeline when the internship opens. I am not aware of these things, but recently in May or June, I checked for some internship opportunities for some college. But I was told that the timeline gets done by March or April or something. But we can work on it, but much ahead of at least 4 months before, if we can work together, then we can create some opportunities for internship. But it would be more on software side, I think, because all of the other factories are very far away. I don't know if students would be very keen to go that far and get interned, etc. But if they are, then certainly that opportunity is definitely there. For example, there is a company called 0 to 1. They are in Zahirabad, like little before Zahirabad. So the distance itself is about 100 kilometers, but they are open for all of this. I mean, for internship giving internship opportunities, etc. All right. Then I think we can certainly do it. There are very few companies within the ORR, but many are there around. So if it is fine to go a little distance for doing this internship, I think then we can certainly do it. Otherwise, it will be all again Bosch, Stellantis, everyone is within financial district or Gachibowli, etc. And they also wouldn't take a lot of people. They might give an opportunity for 4 or 5, and not beyond. But if we want to give a good opportunity for many students, then it has to be manufacturing only. It has to be something like operations or supply chain management. Could be anything, some value-added thing for a factory. That would create a lot of openings. But we can certainly discuss that.
And not only automobile, all core
Yes.
so, colleges only
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Remaining all colleges shut down core branches.
Yeah, correct. So I was discussing the same thing with BITS Hyderabad last year, where they mentioned that computer science has been doubled and core has been reduced.
Yes.
So this is happening. I know.
Can
Student close.
yes. Sir, can we also coordinate with YIESU?
So that is, I mean, it is not directly under my purview. I'm a part of it only for the automotive side.
But I can check with my boss. So I report to Jayesh Ranjan Garu.
Yeah.
So I'll check with him how VNR can join hands on YASU, certainly. And I'll revert on that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, sir. It's very nice session from you, sir. Basically, I'm Suresh, sir, from Department of Automobile Engineering. My question is related to the in building of ecosystem of electric vehicles. You came across any kind of industry which any one of the cluster come up with any recycling technology because battery recycling, because hardly we are across India we are not able to recycle not even 5%. So any industry came up with recycling.
So for this Digitipalli sector that I spoke to you about, we have discussed with Atiro, they are a Noida-based company. They do about 97 point something percentage recycling. And there is one company called Loham. So Loham is also looking to invest into Telangana. So these two, I mean, you can look it up online. Loham and Atiro certainly do recycling very well. Within our area, locally, there is a company called NYLE, I think, or NILE or NYLE. So they are into recycling of batteries. So that also, I mean, if you are very keen to understand what they are doing, etc., they are very close by. So I mean, within ORR itself, somewhere in Madhapur or somewhere they are. So you could, I'll share the details. You can connect with them. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The programs and incentives you have discussed are not only encouraging entrepreneurship, but are also paving way for a greener, more efficient automotive industry. I'd like to invite Dr. C.D. Naidu, Principal, VNRVJIET, to join us on the stage. I now invite Dr. Kiran Chakravartana, Department of EIE, VNRVJIET, Manager of Vijay Hub and Mentor of At Last, to give speech.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, and thanks a lot for both Mr. Srinivas Chorla and Mr. Gopalakrishnan for being here, and the support that you have given us through the speech. I hope a lot of what you proposed can be taken forward through VNRVJIET and VJHAM. So the Center of Excellence or even mentorship and transferring programs together, etc. I really want to thank Rich for doing this through I've been in touch with Dr. Sushmita Sundar, who heads the Life Sciences Project. So there are some researchers among the faculty members here who are also into healthcare tech. So we were working together with her, but the chief here will also hope to do more on sustainability. So like you said, sir, we will probably come up with an idea after some internal discussion. The Center of Excellence in Sustainable Mobility is probably what we can look at, but there could be other areas that we will explore. We'll get back to that. And thank you for being here, all of you. And I see that there were also some participants out there participating in the carnival. I think at last, as a startup, there are several students who were just starting off, and they were I'm mentors that they started, but most of their journey is something that they grew by themselves. They had to go to BHL, they went to IIT Madras, wherever he thought there was a resource that would probably help him, a guy that could probably support him, he was there. So I was only trying to point in some directions and give some direction there, and help him particularly, not with the technology part, but with the business part. But my major motivation to do that is, of course, my vision. One story, a little story, not exactly that, but definitely something that I wanted to share with the audience here is there is a middle connection for me in hydrogen also. My research was in high energy physics, so I worked with proton anti-proton collisions in Formula, and that essentially depends on how we actually extract the protons from the hydrogen ions that we use. So hydrogen as a source of something that we can do was something that has been on my mind when I was ever since I was doing my PhD. And later, when we saw the renewable energy and the green hydrogen particularly, the initiatives from the government of India, the speakers today have given a great outline about it, and I hope a lot of the audience already know it. That 19,734 crores, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, the Indian government wanting to put so much of money into hydrogen, the mission, hydrogen mission. I'm sure there is a lot that we can do as a country, as a mission, particularly supporting with research and innovation, as an institution that is focused not just on technology but on societal impact. So that way, at last fits like hand in glove in this idea of where the institute wants to also take them, help them through the societal impact, and that is why they, as a startup, have got a seed fund of 6.14 lakhs from the institution. I do not see new students here, but I want you all to take the word out there also that VNRVJIET as a group does support students beyond what we probably even put on paper. On paper, students can get up to a seed fund of 5 lakhs. But when we are seeing at least has been doing more than that, the Department of Mechanical Engineering, the Department of Electrical Engineering, and the Institute as a whole, along with VJ, have separated their initiatives. They have mentors from the departments, and with all this, with VNRVJIET understanding that they are doing what they want to be doing for the cause, they separated beyond what we want to do. Also, it's something that people may not know this, the entire VJ Hub right now operates in 1,625 SFT, while Atlas alone has an exclusive 1,000 square feet of space. And that is the kind of support that the institution gives. And despite the fact that they have little space, we could support in whatever they can, and that support extends to all students who want to do, particularly if you are creating an impact. And a lot of times when we talk about startups and entrepreneurship, we talk about the profits, the money you can make, and how soon you can do a unicorn, all these things. But in my opinion, personally, I say why I'm interested for the startup at last is because I'm primarily interested more in the impact a startup can create, and impact an entrepreneurial journey can inspire. That is what I hope Atlas is doing in the right directions with all their accomplishments that most of you know here. I'm sure they're doing that and they're going beyond that. And it's also time for the students to get inspired and build more such startups on campus. But I thank again the guests for being here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to call Principal Dr. Stephen Naidu, Principal of VNRVJIET, to the stage to share his thoughts.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the, I can call it the youngsters, right? Being on the days for giving thought to have a startups ecosystem in the campus. And also elsewhere attract so many things. For a brief period of 5 minutes, he gave a lot many things to put in my mind, how I can do those 3 things or 4 things that he has given us. Voluntarily, he has given us the choice to choose COEs for this campus. So everybody, mechanical, electrical engineering, and then automobile departments can work through that and see how we can get those things onto our campus as COEs or startups or internships, whatnot, anything. So I once again thank the initiative taken by Gopichand from Atlas for having a youngster coming forward to taking a challenge on hydrogen for 2-wheelers. Big worried since the starting date, even today. I don't know the journey that what he takes. I wanted to see if I'm living on this earth, I want to see his vehicle should run on this campus or on our roads. So that is my dream, with which I am also traveling along with him to see that the day will come when everybody runs on his 2-wheeler. So I wish him good luck, and then experts like him may give his advices, and then how he can travel. Many challenges are there, which I can understand as a person. Many challenges, because I closely work with him in the evenings after 6 p.m. He's the only person who meets me in chambers in my office after 6 p.m. So discussing every point of every day's progress almost. So I have not seen such a committed fellow who has the startup zeal like that. He came from his father is a farmer from Khammam districts, from a remote village. So still he took a challenge. That's a great thing that we have to appreciate, right? So I wish you good luck, and then you should succeed someday. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for having here on this occasion.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. As we near the conclusion of today's event, I now invite Mr. Gopichan, founder of At Last Mutagen, to offer a vote of thanks.
When I was in my class 8th, my biology teacher told, like in World 2 class, there was a scientist who was doing an experiment on frog, and what he found was your spine of the frog is as important as the brain of a frog. The reason being, we got graduated in 2023, and if you see all the support that we're getting from the college, I would say whole management principals are like be it from VJIET, be it from the Department of Mechanical Engineering and AAA department, it was like a spine for all of us, and I'm really thankful, sir. And when we said about we got graduated in 2023, we couldn't celebrate International Hydrogen Fuel Cell in 2023, but this time we want to bring that initiation. The reason because right now if you see the auditorium, it's like half of the strength, and Gopal Krishnan sir was asking, did Gopal Krishnan still force you to sit here, or you came with your abilities? Sir, I have like very sincere first year students who are actually working with us for hike. We said we are starting this initiation, and this is new for us. If you see, like in US itself, like from past 10 years, they are celebrating International Hydrogen Fuel Cell Day. Whereas in India, it's like hardly from past 2 or 3 years. And in Hyderabad, we just want to start that culture. People should celebrate about hydrogen because in terms of technology, people can say hydrogen has a very good future in terms of decarbonizing and everything. But if I'm a random person like college, I should be knowing the potential of hydrogen. It's not like it's a normal elements or something. He or she should actually understand hydrogen has that much of scope. If they understood that hype at least in starting, maybe second edition, third edition, or fifth edition, this will also is the teething problem. Any new technology, if they are aware of the technology, let's imagine ChatGPT when it came in 2022 November, I guess, and people were like world over, they just give it a try. So the same thing. In fact, when principal sir was talking about like he is very much worried about how we are going to go two-wheelers. Senior sir is indirectly about going to convey the same thing for us. We actually met someone called Dr. Kim in Delhi. And unfortunately, we couldn't have a virtual session on this day because of the very timings and tight schedule. He is based out of South Korea. So he worked for 20 years for Hyundai Motor Corporation. Right now, he is the advisor. One thing he was also optimistic was, for sure, if you want to cut down the cost, of course, you can say volumes. But if you see trucks and buses, the volumes of them are like hardly in just thousands. So he was also optimistic, saying, I work on materials, I compare materials. So for sure, there will be a lot of optimism to cut down the cost for two-wheelers and three-wheelers or like for light mobility applications. And if you actually ask, you got graduated, like, yeah, we don't have job, but we have some sustenance alternative. But what inspires you, what motivates you to work for some new technology or something like that? It's because maybe that's in the soul or what it's called.
it's actually embodied in the body or something. Getting that experience, like when we're like hardly 20s, 22, 23, so you have a lot of energy levels. So if somebody says if you want my appointment, you should wait for 10 minutes, like we are like okay, so our energy levels are like very much high. So even if something works or something does not work, the experience is what actually we always wanted. So that inspires us, despite like whatever journey we are going through, that inspires us to do more, try out new opportunities and all. Before I conclude, I'm really thankful to all my first year juniors, Akshay, Jeevana, Tanushree, Harshit, Meghna, Sanvita, Javali, Advaitya, Mansa, Krishita, Amit, Pritosh, Pranav, Rohan, Bilvika. This sounds like a school at least, but please, I'm sorry. Rohan, Anurag, Ashish, Raju. Yeah, please. All first years who actually contribute for HICA. Please. In fact, sir was telling, these guys seems, sir might think these guys seems to be organized. Organized are participants. We always believe in oneness. Sir. If you see the logo, you could see the dot. The same dot is in the company's logo as well. We always believe in that oneness. Maybe this is the first edition, first of its kind culture. Maybe very small crowd. The team and like everybody is same. Maybe second edition, the oneness, the initiation was taken up by these guys. Second edition is going to be very big. The whole point of HICA is to make awareness about hydrogen. So that's the end goal. The students are very much, they want games and everything. So we said like, okay, if the goal is to get awareness and the only route is through games, okay, let's do it. So that's how we plan games. And when I approached the principal, sir said we want to celebrate this first of its kind because I hardly we couldn't see anyone who's celebrating hydrogen in Hyderabad. When sir was like, no, okay, let's do it. Then I said, sir, the budget arrangement, okay, let's do it. If you really want to do it, let's do it. And she was going to support you. So I'm really thankful, sir. Thankful for all the support. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to add one more thing. Sorry to add kind of ruling titles, bloomers or whatever there, but I forgot to mention one thing about Gopichand. He actually owned an electric bike, an EV that we lost during the journey while he was still building his Atlas. And a part of me, I never shared it with him, but a part of me was thinking, now that this guy lost this bike, would he think that it's also unsafe and there is no proper support or safety for electric vehicles and stop working on it? But that didn't stop him either. And that has led all the way to this. And thank you. One more thing I forgot to mention is I always believed, even when we were doing convergence under the leadership of Dr. Pramsai, I always used to say, when people say the technical symposium, technology and fun, I used to say technology is fun is what it should be. And that's the spirit of HICA. And thank you actually for doing that as a fun thing that where students can learn. That is very important. And VNRVJIET catching up with hydrogen celebration. This is the second time that India is celebrating the World Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day. And we catching up the second time itself is really thanks to you, thanks to the team of Atlas and all these people here. So we're all in first year, so you have 4 more years to explore your life, and I hope to see all of you in Vijayhead, either as teams or individuals with more people in your teams. Soon come back. Thank you.
So one more line to add, people with very true purpose of really want to do something. I was texting sir at night 12 p.m., night 12 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. or something, so to go back to sir, like we're having this, can we have our presence? Even on holidays, I was calling semester sir, we want to do this, sir, we really need your presence. I was texting to principal at late night, sir, like this agenda we have planned, like how are we going to proceed? Even these first year kids, they came on Sundays. They were till late night, and today we are going to have some sort of meet, so they are going to stay. So this is the beauty of really want to do something, staying committed and executing things. So this is what it all can create a very good change going forward. Thank you.
And one more, sir, sorry again, but I wanted to particularly thank you also. I met Gopal Krishnan sir in VHub when I went to an event, And when he introduced himself as that he's heading the automotive and EV sector, I said we have this startup, and immediately he said connect them to me. And I gave that, I took the photograph of the visiting card and sent them right away, and they started connecting, and he has been supportive ever since. Thank you for that, sir. That initiative is what we want. Thanks a lot.
And finally, as a token of our gratitude, we would like to present our esteemed kids memory with mementos and showers. Thank you once again for gracing us with your presence and insightful contributions.
Probably a decade back, nobody imagined that so many electric vehicles are coming on the road. The next decade, probably it will be. Yeah. You can sit here.
Uno ma'am, please come. Sir, tell me. All students, please come. Sir, I'm just media and the evening. Gupta sir, please come. All of you come.
Yeah, everyone, thank you for your support. We have coffee outside, right? Just right in front of this door, you can have self-service.